Hello, everybody. This is Kev, and this is Black Man being brutally honest. It's coming to you for a full minute, for a few minutes to give my thoughts on like something I heard that happened tonight. Um, Anthony Joshua lost. No. I have no problem with Anthony Joshua as a fighter. It's just that I thought this was kind of significant because Anthony Joshua is such a from what I can see, a good fighter, a great fighter, even a great boxer, and it just kind of stunned me a bit, to hear, because I'm always like, and you may call it some kind of racial bias, or you might even call it racist, but like when it comes to situations like this, I'm always gonna have bias toward the black guy. Now, you got Caucasian people out there that might not willing to admit to their bias, but we all know how that goes. And Spanish people, they're gonna support the Latina in the fight because I've seen it before. And you know what? Those things don't bother me. They don't. I'm not sitting up here saying that that what they're being is racist. Is racial pride, and there really is nothing wrong with racial pride. But anyway, if you if you are listening to this broadcast but you haven't hit that subscribe button, I recommend that that's something you need to do because I do talk about all kinds of stuff and I do have panels from time to time and they can get fun and interesting. You should check out the last panel I did. It's called "Don't Let These Women Fool You." They will fuck with a broke dude. And that was the part two of that broadcast, which means that there's a part one. And both conversations were pretty good. So, subscribe to my channel, look through the what I have, and decide for yourself. Decide for yourself. I'll just say that. You can't be the shit unless someone else confirms it. But you can always 100% of the time believe you're the shit. There's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, let's get back to Anthony Joshua, and we're going to discuss one of my home state favorites, also Deontay Wilder. Yeah, Alabama. Shit. Yeah, let's get started. Oh, you was a corn-fed fool with a lot of muscle mass, but it's time for Bullhorn to get up in that ass. Wah! Hey, motherfucker. All right, so let's get started. Let me put some on the screen here real quick. Uh, uh, uh. So, yeah, this is the fight that happened tonight. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't follow boxing as frequently as I used to when I was younger. I could probably talk to you about fights that happened back in like the late '80s, the early '90s. I would say I followed a lot of Mike Tyson's fights, like when I actually watched Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinks. Um, I watched this fight too. Not many people remember this fight here, but it was just yeah. And then I'm supposed to be talking about Anthony Joshua, but I'm just want to give out a couple visuals. I remember this fight too. George Foreman versus Michael Moore. Yeah, I remember at the beginning George Foreman read this big old poem. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Is he wishing upon a star? And I guess he did because he did win that fight. But I don't know, man. It's just something about it that looked funny. Did this really go down like this, or is it something going on behind the scenes? Because nobody remembers Michael Moore like at all. And I can also probably tell you about the time where all this hype was around the Lennox Lewis Mike Tyson fight, and some of the shit that Mike Tyson was saying to Lennox Lewis was batshit crazy. Like he told Lennox Lewis, "I'm gonna eat his babies. I'm gonna eat his babies." Like, dude, like for real. But then when Lennox Lewis beat the hell out of Mike Tyson, it was like Mike Tyson that didn't find. I'm just glad he didn't kill me. And I think that was the fight that he said I broke my back. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I broke my back. It's like, how you break your back? Getting punched. But anyway, and then like just for a side fact, did you know? Did anyone know? Did anyone know that this happened like right here? And and this happened back in March 8, 2019. Lennox Lewis calls out Mike Tyson for a $100 million rematch. And I'm really sitting up here like, dude, like, y'all too late on that one. It's over with, guy. It's over with. I mean, you take the W and just live. I mean, you beat Mike Tyson, one of the most feared fighters in in history, actually. But let's get back. Let's get back to what I'm supposed to be talking about. This is Anthony Joshua. Now, really, honestly, I'm doing this for a person that, I'm doing this for a person that is in my Facebook group. But we were in another Facebook group, and we kind of had a back and forth when Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fought to a draw. And what he was arguing was that Deontay Wilder played the race card, and and that's why it probably was a draw, and all this other stuff. Conspiracy theory. I was like, no, Tyson Fury. The draw was a kind mercy to Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury ended up on his back, but it was a tough fight. I mean, I can't take anything away from Tyson Fury. But we'll get to Tyson Fury is also part of this little broadcast right here too. But here's what brings me to YouTube at this very moment. The tubby guy on the tubby lighter skinned guy on the right of you is his name is Andy Ruiz Jr. And this was regarded as an upset. An upset because, like I said, Anthony Joshua is a great fighter. I mean, I don't really have a problem with Anthony Joshua, but I will say for the second time within a year, Britannia takes an L. Just saying it for Lex. Now, Lex probably doesn't watch my videos because, this is like I said, Facebookers are hard pressed on YouTube and YouTubers are hard pressed on Facebook. But hey, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that I mention Lex, that I mention him. So what about this one, Lex? Like, damn, dude. Like, anyway, let me stop. Let me stop talking about Britannia real quick. But like, it's like they say this fight carries the gravity of like Mike Tyson losing to Buster Douglas. Like, same kind of way. Is this like, this is the kind of thing that happens when you underestimate your opponent. That's something that you are never, ever, ever supposed to do. And I'm quite sure at one point in time is that Anthony Joshua probably said some corny ass joke is, oh, he better defeat the cheeseburgers first. That was a really bad British accent. He probably said he probably thought he was just going to breeze through this one. I mean, but it's a reason, and it's always a reason why guys like Andy Ruiz Jr. is giving these opportunities, to go into the big show. It's because they shown the boxing world something, and he damn sure showed the boxing world something tonight that he counts. And unfortunately, for myself, as a melanated man, hearing about stuff like this is not or has ever been fun, to hear a black man go down. So what you're going to have to do, Anthony Joshua, I know you're from Britannia, but you're going to have to pull out some of that black tenacity. You're gonna have to pick yourself back up. You're gonna have to go back in there. You're gonna have to rematch this guy, and then you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to send that message, man. You're gonna have to put him on his back. You're gonna say like, oh, you need to lose some weight. You need to do something, man. I mean, don't ever, 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 ever. And those are for any would-be athlete, athletes, or athletes on the verge of retiring. Do not ever, ever, ever underestimate your opponent, and you don't need to. You don't need for me to tell you that. Now, did I follow this? Did I follow the press conferences and all this stuff? No, I didn't. Some of this stuff is just assumption based. But I can pretty much tell. Look, dude, if you're a dominant, strong fighter, you shouldn't fall to guys like these. Guys like these are supposed to be forgotten about, because if Andy Ruiz Jr. goes out there and loses his next fight and it's not Anthony Joshua, guess what? He's another Buster Douglas. He's just a guy that got lucky one day. So Andy Ruiz, man, shoot, he gonna have to definitely prove himself again and again and again. It's like when Anderson Silva lost to Chris Weidman in the UFC. Now that one right there upset me. Oh my God. It's like I wanted that fight to be rigged so bad, because Anderson Silva was such a devastating beast. And he lost to, and then like the thing that kills me about that whole thing was that I watched they did a special on Anderson Silva on the Sports Network, and they just covered his career. And then I'm just sitting up there like, damn, he probably gonna lose. Like, I really hate it because everything that week to me pointed to Anderson Silva losing. Everything I saw, it just pointed to him losing. And when he fought Chris Weidman, like, now I'm looking at this, Chris Weidman, chiseled chin, white guy, and they put All-American as his name, Chris All-American Weidman. And then I'm sitting up here like, if he wins this fight, like, that means that I guess that is in a fuck yeah for America. It's like, why they set it's like, it just seems like they set it up for Anderson Silva to lose. And then Anderson Silva did his usual dancing. He got caught on the chin and went to sleep. Because like Anderson Silva was very, very infamous for playing with his opponents, because he could basically do whatever he wanted to in that ring. The way he beat Forrest Griffin, oh my God. And Anthony Joshua, dominant fighter. Like, he should take some pages from like he should have just looked at Deontay Wilder's two of the fights last year. The one where he went against I want to say Luis Ortiz. Yeah, like, which was a problem fight for him. And when he went against Tyson Fury. Now, so who's that? Who's the harder worker here? Is it Deontay Wilder or is it Anthony Joshua? Because that's the fight that will make me just like, I will take off work. I'll go sit at a sports bar, drink a few beers, which is very uncommon of me, and just sit there and watch that fight. I would actually do that. I watched the Floyd Mayweather-Conor McGregor fight, which I don't consider a real boxing match. I mean, I just don't. But Conor McGregor hung in there enough to make the fight somewhat relevant, I guess. Yeah. I like this. This kind of thing to me is like, whenever I hear it, whether I'm following it or not, whenever I hear like a great star losing, it always carries some gravity. Like, even when Tiger Woods doesn't do his best, it always carries some gravity. Not because of the melanin in them or anything. It's just that, wow. It's just like, damn, it's like mortality all catches up with us all, figuratively speaking, God letting us know that we're all human. No matter how great we do in certain things, that we always have that human about us. And Anthony Joshua learned tonight that he was very, very human. He didn't have the unstoppable. He didn't have the unstoppable, essence, the cocky. Like, yeah, he was kind of cocky. What fighter isn't cocky? If you're not a little cocky as a fighter, But he wasn't like he didn't like every time I saw him in an interview and dealing with the public and everything, he didn't seem like that brasher guy. He didn't. So what he's gonna have to do is he's gonna have to rest up. He gonna have to rest up, get back to work on Monday. Yeah, get back to work on Monday and get back in the ring and knock this motherfucker out. Period. He shouldn't just this rematch is coming, y'all know it, and he shouldn't just win. He should knock this guy out, knock him out. Period. That's what. If I were Anthony Joshua, coming off with a loss to a guy that looks like this, and don't mind me for being like superficial and saying, but it's just like, look, dude. I know you got a homeboy somewhere roasting your ass right now. It's like, for real. In that British accent, he roasted the shit out of you. Probably sitting up there with Andrew Lincoln, Rick Grimes, with a spot of tea, talking about how you lost to a fat man. Like, you know, it's just the way it is. That's just the way American society, well, not American society, society as a whole. I mean, if I said American society, I would have to pretend that racism didn't exist in other parts of the world. Ask any soccer player or football, as they say in other countries. But yeah, dude, that's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to, you know, Monday, the road to regaining and reclaiming your dominance starts. Now, how did the boxing world react to this? Now, this is where I start to get to the Deontay Wilder part. All right, I'll show y'all that in a second. I'll show you that in a second. All right, now we got Tyson Fury, fellow Brit of Anthony Joshua, and it reads, and you see where the mouse is right now. This is what I'm reading, and we'll get to this in a second. I know some of y'all are reading this too. Oh, excuse me. Here goes Tyson Fury. At Tyson Fury, we have our back and forth, but at Anthony F. Joshua, changes starts through life. Heavyweight boxing, and this thing happen. Rest up, cover, regroup, come again. Yep. The sportsman-like attitude of Tyson Fury. Yes. Fellow countrymen. Now you go to my home state homie Deontay Wilder at Bronze Bomber. He wasn't a true champion. His whole career was consistent of lies, contradictions, and gifts. Facts, and now we know who was running from who. Hashtag till this day. Oh boy, everybody makes a hashtag out of everything. But you know, I know some interesting hashtags too that you should search on YouTube. Search the hashtag the habitual line steppers. Yeah, hashtag the THE habitual line steppers. I'm not spelling out all that shit. But yeah, but I mean, but that's supposed to be the match in the future, and I hope to see it one day. Like I said, I would actually just take off work, go to a bar, I get a seat early, order some nachos or some comfort food, drink a few beers, and just watch boxing that night. That's the fight that I would be interested in seeing, because to me, that would be like a Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson. Not so much a George Foreman, Michael Moorer, but definitely not a Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor. But, you know, to see two black men get in there, very competitive, very tough, very powerful, to compete to see who's the better guy. Yeah, that's what classics are made of. Unless one get in there and just knock the fuck out of the other one in like the first round, then those fights, they're funny, but they're disappointing because you want to see a good contest. You want to get your money's worth. All right, but yeah, Deontay Wilder, you know, basically talking shit about Anthony Joshua losing, and that's just one thing we have. You know, when our rivals lose, go in on our rival. Like, I tell you, in Alabama, there's an Auburn-Alabama split in college football. Like, we got Alabama fans and we got Auburn fans. And that rivalry is so bitter to the point where every time one team loses, of course, one team loses to the other team, bragging rights. But when one team loses to an opponent that's not even the other team's fans will roast. will roast, and it's a fun thing. It's competitiveness with these two athletes, and like I said, I hope they get in the ring one day, no matter what happens. Now, for real. Now, Deontay, while he throwing shots at Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder has two very tough contests coming up next. And let me see if I can find that. Like, go back to that tweet. Which screen would have more impact? This one? Oh, yeah. Well, he wasn't a true champion. This whole blah, blah, blah. I already talked about this. And, of course, all the non-blacks are haters. You lost to Fury. You forgot that. No, he didn't lose to Fury. It ended in a draw. People just don't like people. People go to bat for their people. I understand that. But, facts are facts, and facts are indisputable. No one has ever argued successfully against facts. Now, that quote, if you can find that quote and make it in the comment section where I got that quote from, then you could possibly get on a panel. The quote is, no one has ever argued successfully against facts. Where did I get that statement from? Anyway, I'm not a big enough YouTuber to even ask for something like that from my base. But hey, you know what? I guess my subscribers, all 438 of them, are very interesting people because they stuck around, and I love that about them. But I'm not stopping at 438. We need more. We need more. We need more. We need more. So tell a friend about Black Men Being Brutally Honest YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Okay. Yeah, but let's speak of Deontay Wilder for a second. Besides his tweet and his little shot at Anthony Joshua, which was basically his reaction to the Anthony Joshua loss to I can't. Was it Andy Ruiz? Yeah, Andy Ruiz Jr. Yeah, and there's a visual right there. Joshua versus Ruiz, man, and it's like I said, Anthony Joshua getting flamed right now. By somebody somewhere on this planet of 7 billion people. But back to Deontay Wilder. All right. Deontay Wilder has the two contests ahead of him. One in September and the other one in early 2020. Granted, he gets past the one in September. Luis Ortiz, who presented one of the toughest fights that Deontay Wilder has ever had with ferocious hand speed. Ortiz, but he got the TKO in the 10th round of that fight. But they said it was hell getting there. And of course, Tyson Fury, who Tyson Fury rematch. A lot of people say Tyson Fury. I didn't like that. That's another fight I didn't watch. A lot of say Tyson Fury had control of that fight for most of the fight. But it ended in a draw. And then, like my boy, like I said, Lex said, oh, he played the race card. That's why it ended up in a draw. Controversy. But let me read this. Let me read this tweet from Deontay Wilder at Bronze Bomber. Well, as I always say, I'm the realest champion in the business. And as I mentioned before, I must handle all of my controversial fights ASAP. Luis Ortiz at the King Kong Boxing is first, then Tyson Fury at Tyson_Fury next. Okay, so basically what Deontay Wilder wants to do is avenge his near defeats. I mean, because it's like, as a competitor, he goes back and I guess what he does is like, okay, I won these fights, but I don't feel exactly great about them. And if you're a true competitor, you probably wouldn't feel that great about them either. You have to understand, if you fall short in anything and you barely scrape by, There's always going to be that word out. Well, if this happened or that happened, you wouldn't have that. You don't deserve to be called a great champion if you're going to go out like that. So I kind of understand why Deontay Wilder is going back to these two fights. And honestly, I hope he's not looking past Ortiz. Because that's the kind of thing. It's like, okay, you're going to schedule two fights instead of trying to get past your first one. That means that are you looking past? Are you looking past Ortiz, then going to Tyson Fury? Because Tyson Fury is the special one because it ended in a draw. So get through your toughest opponent first, and then hit your even tougher than your toughest opponent. Yeah, I guess that's some logic right there. I guess that's logic, So best of luck to both of these fighters, both of these stellar athletes, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Best of luck to Deontay Wilder, especially. I hope he wins and crushes his next two opponents. I hear the Luis Ortiz fight is coming up in September, which if I'm in a position to tune into that fight, I'll tune into it, or I can just do the usual and be like, oh, well, I'll just read about it afterwards. But yeah, hashtag till this day. All right. All right, I'm about done for now. I'm done. I'm done. And you know what? For this broadcast, I didn't claim to be an expert at boxing. But you know what? I love a good fight. Anthony Joshua didn't have the best fight tonight. Yeah, he lost, so it probably was his worst fight. And Deontay Wilder, good luck and Godspeed. All right. This is Kev. This is the YouTube channel Black Men Being Brutally Honest. If you haven't, please subscribe. Also, check out these two other YouTube channels. The Roger Report with Roger Stevens. And You Ain't Shit for Watching with Donnie Casanova. We are the habitual line steppers. In Kev we trust. Till next time.